it's Nikki here and welcome to a bonus video for you. So I did say at the beginning of the year that there may be occasions where I have to do a bonus video during the week when I have something that needs to go up and it can't go up on the regular days that I do videos. So I do Makeup Mondays and I do Bookish Fridays. So this is a bookish video, but due to, I guess, scheduling, I couldn't get this up for the time that I wanted to get it up. So I had to put something else up in time for my Bookish Friday video this week. So you're getting an extra video. Woohoo! So, get me doubly. So this is going to be my February TBR video. So these are all the books that I plan to read throughout February. So before we get started, I have two books that I have started in January but didn't quite finish in time to go in my January wrap up. So I will obviously be finishing these in February. So the first one is my classic for the month, which is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I am currently on page 182, so I'm about there. I will give you my thoughts on this in my February wrap up, but so far it's not looking good, people. There's a couple of tabs in there, as you may see, and I don't normally tab my books. I don't normally annotate, so for me to tab, there's something happening. So yeah, I will be trying to finish this one. I have about 80 pages or so left, but I am listening to this on audiobook, so it's going to take me some time. I listen to it while I'm doing my makeup or having my dinner or other things that I can't physically hold a book whilst doing. So yeah, this is my audiobook at the moment. And then the next book that I am still currently trying to get through is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is book 6, the final book in the Mortal Instruments series, and I am currently here. So I am on chapter 9, page 198 out of 640 in this edition. So yeah, I've still got about 440 pages left to read of this. There's an awful lot left to go. Put it this way, I can't wait for the series to be over, in all honesty, and I know that there is more books in the Shadowhunters world to read, but I am going to take a break from the Shadowhunter world for a while. So yes, I have these two books to finish that I started reading in January, but will have to finish in February. So those are the first two books that I'm going to be reading in February. I'm going to be taking part in the Polarathon, which is run by Jadeyraereads channel. Jade loves Polarathon, like polar-based books. So anything with a snowy, cold, frozen setting, she absolutely loves and adores. So she created last year the Polarathon readathon to encourage more people to read her favourite kinds of books. So I have 3 books that I plan to read for the Polarathon. There are different challenges or prompts to fulfill. I am not clever enough to put a thing up on the screen for you to see, but I will definitely link her Polarathon announcement video for you down below so you can have a look to see what the prompts are if you think about maybe doing this yourself. It does start on the 3rd of February and runs until the 9th of February. So basically the first week of February. So I have 3 books that I feel will fulfill all the prompts that I need to. The first one of those is The Way Past Winter by Kieran Millward Hargrave. This is a story about a young girl called Mila who wakes up one morning to find her brother and other boys in her village have all disappeared, believed to have followed a Snow Queen or something. I have no idea. I'm getting Snow Queen vibes here. And there's only one boy left in the village, who is a boy mage called Rune. And so off they go together up to the furthest corner of the frozen north to try and rescue her brother. It sounds really, really interesting. I'm loving these sprayed edges and painted edges of this book. It's only a short book. It's 239 pages, so I hopefully should be able to read this pretty quickly. And I just love that cover. It's so beautiful. And a Snow Queen inspired story, I'm thinking, sounds really, really good to me. The next book I should have read back in November for the Believeathon, which was hosted by Gavin Hetherington, who is now the channel How to Train Your Gavin. He's really funny. And it is his favourite book, Frostheart by Jamie Littler. This was the group book for the Believeathon, and I left it till last thinking that I would end on a high, and then ran out of time. So I am determined that in February I'm going to read this book. This book is about a boy called Ash who is waiting for his missing parents. Meanwhile, however, he likes to sing a lullaby. However, the people in his village believe that singing can awaken these Leviathan creatures that are hiding in the snow, so they kind of exile him, and he has to run away on this Frostheart sleigh with the crew to go and try and find his parents. There's a lot happening in this book. Again, beautifully decorated edges there. You know me and my sprayed edges. So yeah, can't wait to read this. This is a long book, and this has 439 pages. I believe there is a sequel coming out later this year as well. So yes, I am going to read this for sure. And then the final book that I plan to read for the Polarathon is The Frozen Sea by Piers Torday. So that is that. And this is basically a story about a girl called Jewel Hastings. Doesn't understand who she is, doesn't know who she is. She's on the run from school bullies, and she goes through a door of a mysterious old bookshop and falls headlong into Folio, the world of the imagination. I'm getting kind of Never-Ending Story vibes from that beginning. So I love the Never-Ending Story, so I'm really excited to see this. This one has a really stunning hardback cover, so really, really pretty. I want to know what this robot is all about. So yes, very intrigued to read this one. This one is only 323 pages, and again, because they're middle grade, these should all read really, really quickly. So although there is about 1,000 pages in all three of these books, hopefully I can finish it all within a week, because hopefully as middle grades they should read pretty quickly. If I can read all of them, there is one more book that I would like to try and fit into the Polarathon. And that is the ARC copy that I received in a Fairy Loot box, I think in December. And this is Wicked As You Wish by Ringe Pecco. And this has like Snow Queen vibes as well. This story is about magical kingdom of Avalon, left desolate and encased in ice. And Prince Alexei, the sole survivor of the Avalon royal family, is in hiding, and he has to try and get his country back. So yeah, this is an ARC. It is 368 pages. It is on sale in March 2020, so I really want to get this read in February, so I know that if I really, really like it, then I might actually buy a published copy when it comes out in March. So yeah, I want to get that ARC read before its publication date, because that's the whole point of ARCs. So moving on to my book clubs pick of the month. I am a member of 2 book clubs. The first one I actually run myself. It is an over 50s sort of book club for the elderly. I started off as a volunteer there, and then when the lady who ran it left for another job, I was asked if I would take it over, and so I did. And the book that I have chosen for us to read this month is Together by Julie Cohen. This is a book about a story about a couple who have been happily married and in love for many, many years, and then one day the man gets up, writes a letter to his wife, and then disappears, walks out the door. And I believe that it is kind of read in two timelines. So you have the current day where he has gone missing, and then there are flashbacks to when the couple were younger, and there are secrets hidden as to the reason why he's walked out on the marriage one day. So yeah, I picked this book up because that cover is absolutely stunning. Luckily for me, I can use my local library to get multiple copies of books to give to the members of my book club. However, this was a book that I knew I already owned on my own TBR shelves. So when I saw this book in the library book club picks, I thought, I can kill two birds with one stone here. Although don't do that, that's cruelty to animals. I can have a book for book club, but also have a book off my shelves. So I did that. I cheated. I did that. So yeah, my book club are reading Together by Julie Cohen. And I'm also a member of the Waterstones book club in my local town. And this month we are reading The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. This is a book that is completely out of my comfort zone. This is kind of a really weird sci-fi classic tale of aliens in our midst, exploring how we respond when confronted by those who are innately superior to us in every conceivable way. This is going to be weird. So in a sleepy English village of Midwich, a mysterious silver object appears and all the inhabitants fall unconscious. A day later, the object is gone and everyone wakens unharmed, except that all the women in the village are discovered to be pregnant. So yes, it is completely out of my comfort zones, but I'm going to read it. It is a book club pick, so I have to read it. The next lot of books I got from my library. The first two are the 6th and the 7th book of the Throne of Glass series that I am falling in love with. These are written by Sarah J. Maas. We have Tower of Dawn, book 6, and Kingdom of Ash, book 7. This is the finale of the series. I normally only get one of these books per month, but I know that as we are so close to the finale, I know that as soon as I finish Tower of Dawn, I'm going to want to move straight on to Kingdom of Ash. So I got them both out of my library, and I'm going to be so sad to see this series finished, but I'm loving it. I am loving it so much. And Kingdom of Ash is massive. It's 980 pages. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to getting back into this world, because since finishing Empire of Storms, I just want to read this. That's all I want to read is this. So, but it's going to have to wait a while until after the Polarathon. And then the third book I got from the library was Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This is the sequel to Skyward, which I read in 2019. Again, another sci-fi, and I don't read sci-fi, but Brandon Sanderson he writes in such a way that it might be out of your comfort zone, but you're going to enjoy it anyway. I loved Skyward. So this is a story about a girl called Spencer. Humans at this point are living on a kind of planet that is being attacked constantly by the Krell, I think they are. An alien species, and Spencer wants to become a fighter pilot to defend her people. However, her father was a well-known fighter pilot in his day, but put the book down, my camera's going nuts. Her father was a fighter pilot, but during an epic battle he turned coward and he started firing on his own crew, and since then obviously the whole family has been branded, and so Spencer is having real difficulties getting into fighter pilot school. So yeah, that was what the first book was about. I won't go into what the second book is about because A, I don't know, because I don't like spoilers for sequels, and B, because I don't want to spoil it for you. So yeah, this is the second book I'm going to read. And then this month I decided to ask my husband if he would pick me a book from my bookshelves, because sometimes we need to let fate choose for us what we want to read, or in this case my husband. So he actually picked two books. The first book, it's another sci-fi. So this is Lightyears by Kaz Morgan, and the reason why he picked this was because of the sergeant stripe picture on the front. He didn't even read the back. So this is about a hotshot pilot called Vesper, dreaming of becoming a captain, but questions everything when she loses her spot to a boy from the wrong side of the asteroid belt. It looks like there are going to be different characters, all of these that are supposedly in here. I'm sure that it's going to be, I'm getting similar vibes to Skyward. So if I enjoyed Skyward, I might enjoy this one. But yeah, this is why I asked him to pick a book, because I might not have picked this up otherwise. So yeah, I think I bought this because I was looking at the 3 for £5 book selection on the Works website, and I already had 2 books and I couldn't find a third one, so I just picked this one because it looked pretty. So yeah, I might not have picked this up otherwise if my husband hadn't picked it for me. And then the second book that he picked for me, because he picked 2, not 1, 2, he picked We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. Now, this book is about one female character who is forced to disguise herself as a man, and she's fighting for her people. And then you have Nazir, who is the infamous Prince of Death, and he's assassinating anybody who goes against his father. And together these two people obviously go on a specific journey with each other, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Now, this book is very diverse for me in the fact that it deals with a culture that I'm not used to. And I was struggling when I was reading the back. I was struggling to pronounce some of the words in here. And I actually Googled how to say one of the words. And I found a whole website about this book. And there was a whole page showing you how to pronounce a lot of the words written in this book. But then on further investigation, when you look at the back of the book, there's also a glossary in here as well. So I really appreciate that, because I am a white English person, and unfortunately my pronunciation of some of these words are not correct, and I don't want to be disrespectful in putting my English interpretation on some of the words in here. I believe that the author is she is Muslim, I believe. Yeah, and this book has a lot of Muslim culture in there, so I don't want to be disrespectful. So I'm really, really grateful for the glossary in the back here. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one. And then some more books that I want to read throughout February. I went to read A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the second book to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I read last year and absolutely loved. And I believe that this story goes on to about Grey's story. Grey was like a second character, like a side character in the first book, and I believe that this now follows his story, which I'm really happy about it because I loved Grey in the first book. So yeah, I really can't wait to go on to this. So the first book, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast in a modern setting. and it's really interesting, so I can't wait to read the second book. The next book I'm going to be reading is also a sequel, and it is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. The first book is Six of Crows, and it follows a group of people who go on a heist to steal something that is possibly dangerous to people of their kind. I won't go into too much because spoilers. Again, Six of Crows kind of left on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I should have read Crooked Kingdom long before now to find out what happens next, but I've been so busy reading other books that I just haven't got to it. So I believe Becca from Becca in the Books and Jade from Jadeyraereads are also having the same problem. They should have read this a long time ago, but they didn't, and I think they're planning to read Crooked Kingdom throughout February as well. So yeah, it'd be good to see what they think about this book as well. So it is quite a popular duology, so I am looking for good things on this book. The next book I'm going to read is going to be my classic for the month, and that is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I know I can also get this on audio from Scribd, so yeah, that's how I normally consume my classics, is by listening to the audiobooks. So yeah, I picked this one as my February classic pick. So I believe this is kind of a plane crashes on a desert island, and the only survivors are a group of schoolboys who assemble on the beach and wait to be rescued. However, I think they're there for quite some time, so some not so very nice antics are gotten up to. I believe murderous, savage significance behaviour. So I think this is going to turn a little dark and a little nasty, but we shall see. Yeah, I've never read this before, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. And my thriller for the month, because I said that I needed to read a thriller in February, as I did not read a thriller in January, I am going to read Before We Met by Lucy Whitehouse. So it is this one, and this is about whirlwind romance, a perfect marriage. Hannah Riley has seized her chance at happiness until the day her husband doesn't come home. Can you ever really know what happened before you met? So I'm getting kind of the same vibes as Together by Julie Cohen, which is my book club pick. But it's a domestic thriller, so we shall see what happens and why her husband hasn't come home. So yeah, I'm going to be reading that one. So I don't think I'm going to be able to hold up the pile. So this is the pile of books, and it's very, very heavy because there are some big books in there. That is a pile of books that I'm going to attempt to read in February. And considering there's only 29 days and I've got 15 books, it's not looking good that all of these will be read. But you will have to see how well I do at the end of February when I do my February wrap up. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!